What's up guys, Roger K here, and this is going to be a collab between my reaction channel and my regular music channel, because in this one we're going to break down my song, Saucy. And if you're an independent artist out there who's wanting to listen to how someone else does this and does this through his own journey, or if you're just a fan wanting to get more insight into how this stuff is made, then this video is for you. I'm going to take you from ideation all the way to the finished product. And in the video, it's broken down into chapters, so you can skip over whatever you don't want to watch, and you can watch what you do. Or you can go from start to end. All right, guys, let's go. The lights go low, now it's just us. All I want right now is to be with you. So Saucy is a tune I really made when I heard the melody. I've got a massive catalogue of cymatics loops and one-shots, and really they're like one of the gold standards for me when it comes to musical sounds. They come in packs, so you can get packs of melodies and drums and percussions that come together, and you can play with it and fiddle with it. But this one was pretty straightforward. Like when I heard the vibe and I heard the melody that came through, I got that kind of vibe that makes you, you kind of want to go up to a girl and say, hey, what's up? So it was always going to be that kind of thing. But the drum beat, which I think was a Japan drum beat from cymatics, when I heard that drum beat, man, I knew I had something that was going to be, had awesome potential. And so when I popped the drums against the melody, I automatically thought this is going to come out as one of the best produced songs I've ever done in a long time. Because it sounded classic, had that 90s R&B kind of vibe that I really like. And it definitely had that aura to pull you in. The ideation for me really came from when I heard the sound, I knew the kind of vibe that I wanted to pull, and that was really the start of Saucy. Feel a little naughty, time to get saucy. So building up this beat, yeah, the first run of the beat was pretty stock standard, and I had verse, chorus, and I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking this is a nice short little song. But the thing I always do is I don't release it, because one of the most important things I think you can do when you're an independent artist is just to take your time with the beat. Because even if you think it's release ready, I can almost guarantee you it's not. When you're sitting there for hours refining the beat, even just laying the vocals, by the end of hour 1, hour 2, you're like, your ears are fatigued and you're not really listening because you've been listening to the same thing over and over again. Really like that, because it took me like a week or something, and it kind of hit me in the heart that said, the song doesn't really have a purpose. Like, it is feeling very shallow. It has no lift. It has no meaning. Like, it's about picking up girls, sure, but like, what's the resolution in that? There's no spirit in the song, and it had to be taken somewhere. So I spent weeks trying to find like how to actually fix this song, because I love the drum and I love the melody. It's probably one of the ones I'm most proud of, because I found this nice little guitar riff and nice little synthesizer that kind of takes you to this place which is like transient, and you're going to hear that in the bridge and the hook when it comes out. And the other thing I did was I didn't keep this standard after all, so I kind of went verse but with a hook, and then verse but with a double hook, and then a bridge, and then the chorus is in between. So that kept it really interesting, kept it really live and full. And the lyrics tell a fuller story. Like, if you really listen to the lyrics, you'll understand the fuller story of the character in the story, that it's not just about flirting. There's a bit of emptiness in the character and the soul, and you really get that from the bridge. So I don't want to say too much about it, but it's just part of the art of songwriting for me, in that you've got to really listen to your track a few times and then kind of unpick what's right, what's wrong, and what vibes for you. You know, moving like the red, real slow, got me impressed. One touch, yeah, that's a tell. Don't stop yet, we ain't done bad. Alright, now here's controversial opinion number 2. And I know I'm in some songwriter groups and stuff that absolutely hate the fact that I do this, but I don't see a problem with it. I'm not shy about using Geminis and ChatGPT to help me out with lyrics. I don't copy ChatGPT, okay? But I need someone to bounce my ideas off, right? There's no other musicians in this household, to put it simply, okay? There's no one to like regularly bounce my ideas off, so I need someone to bounce it off. Sure, I can go to a Discord community and stuff, but if I'm releasing music every month, like, I don't have that kind of time, all right? So for me, bouncing ideas off ChatGPT or a Gemini is really handy. And I can just say, hey, I want to have some kind of, fun, flirty vibe. I want it to be 4/4, and I want the phrase to be saucy, because saucy was sticking with me at that time when I listened to this. And just give me some ideas. I think the best way I can put it is like, when your house is a mess and you just need someone to clean it up, they can clean it up, and then you can say, well, hey, that's wrong. I want to set it up like this. And then your ideas and your creativity just starts to flow. That's what I do with my ChatGPT. That's what I do with my Gemini. I don't think it's cheating. I think it's actually a really good, healthy way to get your creative process flowing.
Ooh, baby, you know you fine as hell. Break my neck when I hear you sound and smell. Let me ring your bell. You a little naughty, girl, let's get saucy.
All right, guys, let's get to talking about plugins. And for me, this is like the really good stuff that I enjoy. I'm not a major music producer, right? I've learned a lot of my stuff through watching tutorials online, YouTube. I've got even a mouse pad board right here that I got online from some music shop that helps to understand how to set things up so I don't forget. But I've also used ChatGPT a lot to give me some advice when it listens back or analyzes my sound. So use whatever tools you've got at your disposal, yeah? That's the first thing I'll say up front to figure out how to mix your sound, especially as an independent. All right, let's first talk about EQs, yeah? So EQs are really important for your instruments. What I would recommend is to look at the band in which your instruments are actually playing and to at least just do a simple high pass, low pass around the spaces that you don't need, right? Like, so if you've got a little muffle, if you've got a little resonance coming off like the top end or the bottom end that you don't really need in your sound, just cut it out because that's going to really clean up your sound. The other thing is please pan your sounds, yeah? So I tend to center pan everything because it just makes everything sit, and then I pan everything from the top. But please pan. Panning is really important. It gives your mix some space, yeah? If you want advice on how to do this, there's a YouTube video called The Wall of Sound. It talks about how you would set up instruments on a stage and how you can use panning, EQ, and gain to really give things a different depth, all right? And that kind of opens your mind up as to the importance of panning. I'm going to move over to the vocal track. I'm not going to go through everything one by one, but I'll just give you an insight into each one, yeah? Sorry, guys. Losing my voice today. All right. You're going to see 3 EQs here. I would recommend avoiding doing this. It's one of those things I've improved in future mixes where I don't try to use multiple static EQs because it's kind of pointless. It just takes up space in your mix bus. Maximum, I think, maybe 2. You know, 1 if you have to do some cursive cuts, and 1 if you have to do some very surgical specific cuts. You shouldn't need 3. A limiter is your standard fruit limiter. I wanted to show you guys Cymatics Voxity. So Voxity is a product, has a whole bunch of different things attached to it, yeah? So it's got a compressor within it. It's got a de-esser within it as well. It's got its own EQ, which you can low, mid, and high, like coarsely. It's got this thing, which is actually Cymatics Omnivox, which actually adds extra layers to your vocals, which is pretty cool. And it can also give you a very low vocal as well. And you can control, if you want, the low octave, which I have used in the past. It's got a bit of space. I'm surprised I used this reverb because I'll show you how to set up reverb, but it's a very light reverb. I probably didn't need it in the end, to be honest. And I have used a little bit of gain here as well, but largely my gain is going to come off the blood overdrive, which I'll show you in a second as well. So yeah, this is a really powerful tool. It helps to really bring out your vocal and make it thick. A word of warning though, it is on the, I would say it makes your sound on the edge. Like it can start to feel a little bit digitalized or crispy, or like, yeah, the more you play with it, like the more room there is to kind of stuff up your sound. So yeah, I think my sound is actually pretty good on this track for me. But there are some future tracks I'll show you, when we get to it, where I'm probably pushing stuff to the edge a little bit. It actually came back in some of the feedback from some of the reactors as well. But it's a really powerful tool, and if you can get on top of it, I think it's got a lot of space to grow. I don't typically use Auto-Tune. I typically use Pitcher. Pitcher is like the native FL Studio thing to help you pitch your notes. But I had a problem with Pitcher in that it sounded very, I don't know, not real. Like it just very digitized, very squeaky. I hate using, what do you call it? A formant. I hate using a formant. A formant just sounds like garbage to me. I think mainly because I got a deep voice anyway, so adding a formant to my voice just sounds completely unnatural. But yeah, the only reason I've got auto-tune is not because I got cash. It's because I got a Focusrite 2i2. That's where I spent my money on. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that it comes with a lot of subscriptions to different plugins, and auto-tune is one of them. And so I've been running auto-tune. I'm going to run auto-tune for the next 3 months, and I'm going to see how it goes. It's pretty cool. It's very clean, the sound. I'll show you my auto-tune setup as well, which is I just run it on default. If you guys got experience in auto-tune and you want to tell me that I'm doing stuff wrong here, please, by all means, let me know. But essentially, just pick your key. You can use some of the presets here. I didn't quite like them. They made me sound not real. But after using ChatGPT for a while, I've set my retune speed pretty low. I do have more of a natural vibrato, so I thought to maybe accentuate that on this track, especially when the notes get long. You'll hear that in the bridge piece. And there's this thing called Humanize. I think I was playing with at the time, but my main thing here is my retune speed is quite low. I just want to keep it quite natural. Yeah, I think some future tracks I'll probably end up using it a bit higher, trying to get you that auto-tune feel as part of like an aesthetic choice for the song, rather than just a way to, make sure I hit notes properly. Maximus is very good if you want to do some de-essing. And you can actually use this curve here. So there's a standard DS, a default template in here, so you'll be pretty set. But I'd use ChatGPT to help you figure out exactly where to DS and how to pull the curve, because you start learning about pulling these curves down and starting to set some of these knobs as well, like a bit more finer. Like you control your lows and your mids and your highs in different kind of steps. Blood Overdrive, amazing plugin. It just gives everything a little bit more grit. So like even though you've got this gain knob in Voxity, so this gain knob kind of does the same thing, and you can change the tube to give it a different sound. But yeah, Blood Overdrive, for some reason, it just works. I don't know the magic behind it, but yeah, you turn up this preamp, you can change your color to make things darker or lighter tone. So this is lighter tone on here, and then you can, muck around with your pre and post bands. Keep your post gain the same always, but pre-band and post filter and preamp. Yeah, it's amazing. TDR Nova is probably a little hidden gem. It's actually free. If you Google TDR Nova, it comes out of a Japanese recording studio. I just can't remember the name, but that's probably inconsequential. TDR Nova is free. Download it. It's a dynamic suppressor. You can set it up on 4-band dynamic, and then you've got 4 knobs where you can dynamically suppress your sound. The dynamic EQ, sorry. It's a dynamic EQ, not dynamic suppressor. So dynamic EQ, what it does is it picks a band that you want to operate in. You set your Q, which is like how sharp you want it around that point. And you can set your threshold. So when a sound goes over a certain threshold, it starts to actually squish down. The advantage of that is a static EQ will always push your sound down in that EQ range. A dynamic EQ will only push your sound down when you go over that threshold within that frequency band, if that makes sense. So it's a lot more controlled, like you're not going to actually muffle your sound when you don't want to. For reverb, lately I've been playing with this thing called Cymatic Space, which has been really cool. It's got a ton of different reverbs, and it's actually got a ton of different modes or sounds to base those factory settings off, and you can just play with this till your heart's content, man. It's a really powerful reverb. I know people talk about Valhalla. I haven't actually used Valhalla. It seems like the industry standard, but yeah, if you're on the Cymatics plugin plan, this is, for me, really good. I think this one I set up a fruity delay specifically. Again, that would have been a ChatGPT thing when I wanted to have a bit more delay in my vocal. And it just taught me how to do it. This is also a vocal stack. It's pretty much exactly the same, except what I've done, I believe, in the Voxity is to just make the delay, more space. And it has a bit more of a luxurious tone, I would say. You're going to hear it in the bridge. There'll be certain notes where things are a bit more accentuated, so you hear that as well. And that's my vocal setup, man. Other things that are notable. When it comes to your kick, I use something called Cymatics Diablo. I won't go through all of it because it'd be here all day, but it really changes the sound of your kick and gives it a lot more punch and a lot more grit. So play with punch, play with body and heat. I'm on the Cymatics plugin plan, which is why all this stuff is free for me, which is awesome. A sizzle just gives a little bit of top-end shimmer. But yeah, the Diablo is really great. Try to EQ your bass and your kick outside of each other just a little bit. I think in this one it might have been interfering a bit too much. if I'm not mistaken. I'll just give it a quick check. Yeah, so I think this one was interfering a bit too much, but I have actually offset the bass and the kick and when they actually interact. So there'll be one will be a little bit delayed compared to the other, and you'll hear that in the track, which is probably why it didn't come up too much in this track, but it comes up in some of my later tracks. For the bass here, I actually put the sound goodizer because in the very start of the track, I needed that bass to hit, and it just wasn't hitting on the sample. So sound goodizer kind of changed the tone and the feel of that bass and made it really strong and powerful. It's one of these nebulous plugins that, again, no one really knows how it works. Oh, actually, that's not true. You can do it on Maximus. You can get Maximus and then use Sound Goodizer as a preset, and then you can understand how the bands work, but I haven't explored that. But yeah, this was just set on setting C and then turned up to 75%, as you can see. Let's talk the masterboard for a second. I've got a Fruity Clipper here, which in hindsight I probably didn't need, because in the end I got this BX True Peak limiter, which I'll go into a little bit. The God Particle, I've unfortunately lost subscription to it. So this track is actually not going to play. But the God Particle is amazing. It's got this low, medium, high kind of set up to the God Particle where you can kind of control. You can see the levels in the low, medium, and high, and it's got like a target band. And you can play with the input settings and the low, medium, high settings to kind of get into the target band. 9 times out of 10, it works and it sounds awesome. Actually sounds phenomenal. And it's got a little bit of sparkly stuff that within the plugin as well. I wish I could tell you how it works, but if you go online and try to find how the God Particle works, even the best producers don't know how this works. There's always some kind of, in-depth 20-minute tutorial on how it works, and at the end of the day, they don't know how it works. So it's not just me, okay? If you know how it works, let me know in the comments. I'm going to make $1 million. Ozone is a great way to give your stereo image just that little bit of extra space. So you can see I've added a little bit of extra width to the song. This one I really want to talk about. I think this is the one plugin I've actually invested money into. It's not very expensive. I think it was like $30. This has actually changed a lot of my tracks. So this comes out of Brainworks. It's called a BX Limiter True Peak. Again, I didn't know this existed without chatting to ChatGPT, right? What this does is it limits your true peaks hard. I had a track called Plastic Hearts, and I suspect that's fallen victim to having high true peaks because the start of the track comes in really, really softly. That's not how I uploaded it. I don't even know where that's come from. I was a bit gutted by it because now that's going to be there, and I don't want to put out a remix to the song, which is just higher. It's just going to sound weird. Like, why is this a remix? It sounds like the exact same song without a fade in. But yeah, I set this to minus 1.2. It limits all my true peaks. I don't have to worry about it. My gain reduction is pretty small on this one. Yeah, just watch. You want to try and minimize your gain reduction if you can, but you can also just monitor exactly how competitive this is going to be. So this sits about minus 10 LUFS. I think it goes over a few times, hits minus 9. But yeah, that's about the competitiveness you want in your master. And that's it. You can tell I really love plugins. I really love setting stuff up. Like I said, I'm not a sound engineer. I've just learnt this stuff off the bat myself, watching YouTube tutorials, chatting with ChatGPT, trying to find different ways to understand different things. If this interests you, this is pretty much the setup to Saucy. I did cut up some samples a little bit just to splice it and see like even different time intervals just to give it a little bit of flair. On the vocal stacks, I tend to do doubles, triples, quadruples. I probably do every vocal stack about 6 or 7 times so that I can try to take the best take and try to get the ones that are most in pitch and with good gut feel. So I don't really want auto-tune to do a lot of work. But you can see this vocal stack is completely cut up. So that's what you're actually hearing when you hear my songs. So yeah, there's a lot of different parts and elements to my vocal stacks that actually go into the work. I chopped some stuff up there too. So yeah, I don't just copy and paste a sample all the time. Like I do try to make things a bit more variable and fluid as well. That's my song Saucy. So that's kind of how I do my work. So if you enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments. If you thought it was too long, if you thought some bits could be cut out, let me know down in the comments so that I can, make this better for you guys next time. The other thing I could do in the future is talk about my video creation process as well, because I do use AI for my video creation process. So if you want to know more about that, pop it down in the links, pop it down in the comments, and I will catch you on the flip.